Welcome to That's No Class. I'm Brian Berumen.
And I'm Morgan Darian.
Welcome back to the home of class. If this is your first time joining us, hi. We're so glad you're here. We're a talk show. And this week, we're talking news, something pretty silly, and then something totally different we've never done before. And closing it out, as always, with no class picks. It's easy. Just kick back. We're going to do all the work. Chill. It's all good. I have to make a correction to something that I said last week. We were talking about 7-Elevens with gas stations, and I said that there were none of them in California. I was wrong. So you don't remember this? We were talking about them.
You said there were some in...
There was 2 of these electric charging stations, but I said basically that overall that 7-Elevens with gas stations was not a California thing.
Right.
I spoke for the state of 30 million people.
Okay.
And I was wrong. So I just learned, seeing in a news story this week, that they do exist. And in fact, there's definitely one in Linwood.
Well, I think everyone will forgive you for that.
I hope so. But you know that I try to be journalistically accurate at all times. So I apologize to 7-Eleven, and I apologize to the people of Linwood who are maybe proud of their 7-Eleven gas station. Who knows?
Well, on that note, actually, my boss is going to go into business with me on my 7-Eleven cafe pitch.
The brilliant idea pitched right here. See, he was like Shark Tanking.
He was like, okay, he was like, let's do this.
Smart. No. I'll give you some seed money. All right, let's get to some news.
Now here's the news.
All right, so last week, Morgan told us all about 311 non-emergency calls in New York City. And the conclusion we reached at the end of it was, man, we really don't know anything about 311. So I promised that I would do a deep dive into this and try to answer everyone's burning questions about 311. Heard from hundreds of listeners. Not really. Nobody asked, but I'm doing it anyway. Like, where is 311? Who
I want to know.
311?
Yeah.
I wanted to know, too. What do they do? Is it only in New York? Here we go. The city of L.A. does have a 311.
Ooh.
And here's a list of services that they say that they can help with on their website.
Okay.
Animal services, including removing dead animals, catching loose animals, and freeing confined animals.
What? Okay.
Public right-of-way investigation, including streets and sidewalks, leaf blower complaints, illegal vending, tables and chairs in the wrong place, sign removal and water waste, parks and rec, graffiti and streetlights, homeless encampments, and sanitation, like picking up bulky items and trash and all the rest. So, friend, apparently these are the people that we're supposed to call when we chuck our Christmas tree in the alley and leave it there and hope that somebody...
Stop drawing attention to our deepest shame.
Maybe that woman who chided us worked for 311.
Maybe. I don't know.
So...
Can we complain about our own building's leaf blowers activities?
I think
that we
so.
Pay for?
So the crazy conclusion, the list, that's just a partial list. I mean, basically,
that's really funny.
It's kind of like what you said last week about New York.
Okay.
311 handles basically anything
that's wild.
that is not an emergency that is part of the quote-unquote city.
Okay.
Like if it's not private property and it's public in any way, it basically falls under the jurisdiction of the city, so you can call 311 about it. I never knew this.
Interesting. Yeah. They don't really, they don't have a hard sell.
They don't.
Anywhere.
Don't.
They're not visible.
Like, how are you supposed to know? People always say, call the city, call the city.
Yeah.
What they mean, basically, is this 311, apparently.
All right.
So
I like it.
It's wild. If you guys, I guess if you guys have any problem whatsoever, call 311.
There you go.
And actually, there is a 311 in dozens of major cities across the country.
Okay.
And even a couple smaller ones, also in Canada. Pretty widespread.
All right.
As a thing.
Maybe I should start complaining about some stuff.
I mean, yeah, I didn't even know I could complain about half of these things. So
thank you for getting to the bottom of that.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, so the New Yorker published a great story about a novelist and professor, H.G. Carrillo, who actually only published one novel, who died recently.
Okay.
His husband discovered after Carrillo's death that he completely fabricated his own backstory, changing the names of his siblings, changing what his parents did for work, where he was from. The article is so long, almost everyone he'd ever met had caught him in some type of huge lie. In his true history, he grew up in Detroit. In his made-up story, he came from Cuba. He became popular as a professor, especially to his Latinx students because he was Cuban and celebrated it. He was not Cuban at all. Couldn't speak Spanish, and there were a few people who came across his only novel, which had Spanish words in it, and they were like, "This guy's grammar and word usage is
really completely
bad at
Spanish."
Wrong." Yeah, but no one paid attention to them. And one guy even sent a letter to his college saying, "This guy's a fraud." Again, ignored. His own sister was like, "We don't understand how he got employed. If someone would have asked me, I would have told them, but nobody asked." She said their whole family just thought he was like being a persona in his author bio in his book because he changed his own name from Herman Glenn Carroll to H.G. Carrillo, and he changed his siblings' names from Maria, Susan, and Christopher to Maria, Susanna, and Cristobal. And they just thought his Wikipedia page like got his info wrong or something. They didn't know that he was just living a lie. And a bunch of his family and partners over time came to realize that the named people in his life weren't real. Like, he once claimed to adopt a kid that no one ever met. The name of his book? Losing My Spanish. Not spelling
Amazing.
Losing.
Amazing.
Spelling losing.
Amazing.
My Spanish. Spanish. Like he lost his Spanish. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, hold on.
Amazing.
Amazing. I have
Amazing.
I have many questions here.
Yeah.
So you say that his husband is the one who finally is like, "Yo, this wasn't real."
Yeah.
Did he lie to his husband too?
Yes.
So his husband was also operating under this,
Yes.
web of lies.
Yes.
Dang, that's rough, man.
Amazing.
That's rough.
His husband was like very forgiving, probably because he's dead.
Yeah.
And he loved him.
Yeah, that's...
Can you imagine?
No, I cannot.
One random...
Are you really from Wisconsin?
Yes. Well, I mean, I was born in
Among
Chicago,
other
but
places?
Yeah.
Did you ever once live
Lots
in
of
Wisconsin?
places.
Jeez Louise, man.
Losing my Wisconsin.
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 That is a wild tale. I mean,
It really is.
fake it till you make it, I guess, man.
My one little random note I love because it just shows you how someone can convince themselves of things was when his college was like, "We can't give you tenure because you only put one book out a while ago." And he was like, "I haven't been putting out books, but I've been writing hundreds of recommendation letters for my students, so you should give me tenure for that."
Well, maybe he did a great service for the world. Maybe he's helped launch so many careers because he
Maybe.
focused so much time and energy on these recommendation letters.
Yeah.
Don't
Isn't
judge this
that
man too
wild?
harshly.
I
You're
loved it.
weighed by the totality of your good works, right? In the end, when you're at the gates. So, don't judge
There
this
you
guy
go.
for lying his entire life, I guess.
So
That is a wild story.
You hear about people lying about major things like conning and stuff like that, but this, he really lived into it.
Yeah, that is a commitment
Yeah.
to that.
That's too much.
That's kind of cool, though. It's a great story.
wild.
It's a great story to hear on this show.
His husband did say, "I kind of respect him for it."
Yeah, exactly. He kept it. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to lie and you're going to lie big, you keep it up and you never crack and you never break. Never, ever.
One super interesting point his husband made was that race is, what is it? Race is a performance.
Sure.
And so he
I
made
get
the
that that's a
argument
thing.
that
He decided to be Cuban?
yeah.
It's like, hey, who are you to say I'm not Cuban?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like, okay.
hey, I am educated in that particular form of,
Yeah.
theory. So, hey, I can't, I
There you
guess.
go.
I guess.
I don't
Who am
know.
I to say? All right. Thanks so much for that story.
You're welcome.
That's a wild one.
Yeah.
The New Yorker. Oh, I'm glad they're giving you something when they're charging $50 for a tote bag. Hey, New Yorker. No class. Great story, though.
So funny.
Well, when we come back, we have got a debate. It's been a
Ooh,
while.
it
but
has
we
been a
got it.
while.
Here we go. Thanks so much for listening. We love having you here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So the other day, Morgan was heading to work and she threw a beanie on, just like I did. if listeners, you can't see it, but I just did a costume change right now, and I am now wearing a beanie. So Morgan throws on a beanie, and she turns to me, and she says, does this make me look douchey? And friends, this is how debates are born. Because there is a time and a place for beanies, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a small window. And we are both in full agreement on this, Morgan and I. It is possible to look like a douche in a beanie.
Right.
But what's your reason? Because it's probably totally different than my reason.
Okay. Here's a little definition/history for you.
Okay.
The beanie was working apparel associated with blue-collar laborers, including welders, mechanics, and other tradesmen who needed to keep their hair back, but for whom a brim would be an unnecessary obstruction. Historically, the wool net cap was an extremely common form of headgear for seamen, fishers, hunters, and others spending their working day outdoors from the 18th century and forward, and it is still commonly used for this purpose in the northern regions of North America, Europe, Asia, and other cold regions of the world.
Okay.
Later, they were worn in college frats as a form of hazing.
As a form of hazing?
Yeah, don't focus on that.
Okay.
Okay, so my main problem is with the tiny fisherman's beanie that is the size between yarmulke and regular beanie, because the dudes who wear them also wear like work boots, and I'm sorry, but your boots have never seen a day of hard labor in their life. Your hands are soft, and why, when it's warm out, are you wearing that stupid effing beanie? You are not a fisherman, sir. You do like IT work for like Apple or some shit. Absolutely not. Go catch a fish by yourself, no help from someone you're paying, okay? And do it for like 12 hours in the freezing cold. And then you can wear that style of beanie with those boots. Until you've done that, you can only wear one at a time.
Okay.
That is my argument.
I was unprepared for the fury of this argument. I mean, okay.
It is infuriating.
Okay, so I didn't, well, here, did you feel this before you read the facts and learned the history of the wool knit cap?
No, I knew that the facts were going to back me up.
Okay.
Because I knew it in my
knew
soul. It's a fisherman's hat. Get it off your head if you don't know how to catch a fish.
Okay, so I'm glad that I at least have spent the years working on cars to earn the right to wear a beanie.
You have earned the right to wear a beanie. You would have had it in your closet.
I did wear it in the shop when it was 40 degrees and stuff.
It's freezing.
Yeah, so, okay. But, so you're associating it with, like, the hardworking types and, like, the outdoors and the stuff like that.
And my little note is that you could wear it as a form of style, but you cannot wear it also with work boots.
Here's the thing. I associate it entirely with the latter categories that you were calling out there with the quote-unquote IT dude working at Apple. Because
that came later.
Yeah, because in LA specifically, I associate it with skate culture initially. It's a kind of thing that people would wear, but when I picture it, I think of it with LA people, meaning it is 70 degrees 90% of the year, and I see people wearing these things with T-shirts. Like, they treat it just like it's a regular hat. And it's like, no, I have been wearing this for 5 minutes, and my head is hot and itchy.
It's hot as crap.
So that's a wild piece of clothing to be wearing at this time. It's never worn casually. It's worn like, this is my statement piece right here is my beanie. But I do wear beanies if it's extremely cold. It's a functional piece.
It's
a functional piece,
time.
and it's great. And that's why I said that day that you should wear it, because I was like, yo, it's cold outside. Who cares if people think that you're a douche if it's cold, because you work outside, and I know that it's rough out there. So I'm not, hey, people, we're not saying that this is no class.
I wear beanies all
we're
the time.
not attacking. No, Morgan wears beanies all the time. Morgan wears beanies
sometimes when it's a little warm because my hair looks like crap.
Morgan's certainly, rocking that douche look. Like on the reg.
I walk the line.
For sure.
That's really funny.
If you disagree with us and you think that the small beanie on the T-shirt, like on the hot days thing, is not douchey, let us know.
Let us know.
I don't know, man.
I thought it was interesting that it was the last bit of history was that it was worn by college frats as a form of hazing for the people coming in. Because I'm like, I wonder what the hazing was. Are they saying like, you're working class, you're not as good as us, and that's the hazing?
You're working class. That would make sense.
That's
that
an
people,
interesting haze.
Yeah, because a lot of colleges, there were fewer colleges, upper class. Look at you. Oh yeah, you're gonna walk around the campus and everyone's gonna know that you're dad is a fisherman.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a bum.
And now all those people that are in that position now wear it. And I'm like...
Because you know they make money. If you're wearing a beanie, you're probably doing okay because you can afford and you're doing this whole look and this whole steez.
Exactly.
Dang, look at it. Turns around, gets
weird.
Twisted.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's rude. That's what it is. Okay.
All right. Well, we're in agreement.
Okay.
Different reasons, but in agreement.
Okay.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're doing something completely different. Something we've wanted to try for a while. So stay with us to find out what it is. We'll be right back. Welcome back. There are no limits to our show, only limits to our creativity. And when we started That's No Class, we always wanted to get as many voices as we could on here. Still our goal, because you never know about people. And if you talk to them, hear their stories, you will be surprised, always. This is something that I learned in journalism, and it's one of the things I wanted to bring to the show, and I love it. So my grandma, we call her Lita. She loves to host us all and have us eat a meal together and cook everything and do everything. And she doesn't want anybody to help her, and she does the whole freaking thing herself.
Yeah, she does.
She's 86 years old, but don't be fooled. She has the energy and the strength of somebody decades younger than her. And since she loves to cook, we thought it would be great to kick off this new segment with her showing me how to make her famous biscuits that we have on Christmas morning and on certain occasions. It's the crucial part of biscuits and gravy. Because my grandma grew up in a farm town in Missouri, and it's a way of life that largely just doesn't exist anymore, where people got married and started families straight out of high school. And it all started with a hope chest. Have you ever heard of a hope chest? Yeah, me neither. But she told me all about it while we made biscuits together.
We used to say that the only people that didn't get married out of high school were the losers that nobody wanted.
Right.
Wait, I missed that.
What's true?
We've got it recorded. We got this sound.
And those people became librarians or something.
God forbid.
I mean, I guess they might.
Librarian.
Well, yeah. Well, one of my friends became a librarian, and she was a librarian all her life. She never even got married. Nobody ever did want her, I guess. Or maybe she did. Maybe she didn't want anybody.
Maybe she didn't.
I don't know. But anyway, that's what we used to say, which was, really almost the truth. So,
yeah, I mean, I understand completely.
And when we were in high school, towards the end of your senior year, you planned for graduation, but you also were planning your wedding usually.
Right. Are we using the cookbook?
Yep. You want to put the cookbook over here?
Is this old family recipe?
Well, this is a recipe that I have used since I was very, very young.
All right.
Since I first got married.
There we go. Classic family recipe.
Which was, how many years ago? If I got married in 54, how many years is that? 54, 63,
almost
13.
69 years.
No, it's not 69 years.
Isn't it?
13 minus 4. It is 69. Oh, Jesus. I mean, come on. Good God, no wonder I'm old.
This is a classic recipe.
3/4 of the recipes that we use that everybody loves are in this cookbook. We cannot throw this cookbook away.
Okay. All right, so what do we need? Which one are we making?
We're making Biscuits Supreme.
Okay.
So.
Biscuits. I never knew we were eating Biscuits Supreme.
Well, yes, that's Biscuits Supreme. And I've tried many, many other recipes that, were supposed to be great, and no, they're not.
Okay. I can attest to the quality
They're
of these
not
biscuits.
good like those. This looks like it's perfect. I think you did a good job.
Thanks. Right.
All right, so now then you got to have a biscuit cutter. This I've had as long as I've had the cookbook. Many of these things I've had as long as, because they were in my hope chest. Hope chest in the days when I was growing up, you always thought you were going to get married. Mm-hmm. So you were getting ready to get married. So you got a cedar chest because your guy that was going to be your fiance, If he gave you a cedar chest, that was a sign that probably you were going to get married. Sometimes it didn't work.
So he would give you, it's an actual chest.
Yeah, big.
Big, okay.
Big cedar chest.
Does he buy it or does he make it?
Oh, no,
It depends.
It depends.
Okay.
And usually after that, a diamond came because that meant you were going to get engaged.
Interesting.
So when you got the cedar chest, you said, aha, I better start planning. So you...
How long? When do you get the cedar chest?
Usually about a year before you get a diamond.
You're like...
I got my cedar chest when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so it's a big... If you got a cedar chest from a guy, you're not getting any other cedar chests from any other guys, right? I mean, this is now... Is it public knowledge when you get a cedar chest?
Oh, yes. It's pretty public knowledge that that's going to be the union.
Okay.
Well, sometimes it didn't work out. But...
Do you get to keep the chest?
Oh, yes.
Do you throw it away?
Oh, no, you get to keep the chest. If it doesn't work out, you keep the chest. Oh, yeah. I mean, they don't take it away from you. But very seldom did it not work out.
Okay.
And I think it was more like that in smaller towns, too, because you didn't have as much exposure. So, you usually married somebody that was in 2 classes ahead of you. So anyway, you put all these things, and this was in my hope chest. This was in my hope chest. This was in my hope chest. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, then you just... as I said, you can use a rolling pin if you want to, but I just pat this out. And there you go. That looks pretty good. And then you just take your biscuit cutter and cut it. Jim says he wants biscuits, and why, heck, I knock them out in 2 seconds. Oh, this looks like it's really a good batch.
It looks really,
you did good. you did.
Maybe because we're talking, it's taking longer.
Well, sometimes talking and cooking can sometimes be a disaster.
Yeah.
So now all you got to do is pop them in the oven, and that's all we have to do. And about 10 minutes, and I don't set a timer. I mean, some people do it. I just go by looks. So I turn on the light so I can just kind of look at them.
Yeah.
And now your work is all done.
We're done.
Now we're going to have to do is enjoy them.
Okay, great.
That was cool to learn about the hope
It was
chest.
really cool.
That was really cool.
Never knew this.
That.
Never knew this at all.
Isn't that amazing? I see nobody knows that now.
Yeah. People would love that.
Where's my hope chest, man?
I didn't know. I would have got you one. I totally would have gotten you one.
That's cool.
So awesome. If you didn't get it, the recurring joke through that is that I didn't make the biscuits literally at all.
Not at
so
all.
Lita keeps saying multiple times, "You did such a good job," joking at the fact that I didn't do a dang thing through that whole thing.
Yeah. We gotta post the whole recipe.
Yeah, we'll post the whole recipe.
Yeah.
And actually, if you're listening to the show, that was all shot, and we have video of that whole thing. It exists. The segment, the video in its entirety is on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see it, which I think adds a lot to it, she's super awesome. And obviously, I'm biased because it's my grandma.
Well, sure.
But it does exist on YouTube if you listen to the audio-only version of the show.
For sure.
And we will put a separate bonus video up of the actual making of the biscuits because we realized that we didn't show the making of the biscuits.
They're so good.
They were delish.
Definitely worth a look if you like biscuits.
Totally. And we did see the hope chest. She still has it. My grandma still has this hope chest after all of these years.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Man, it was huge.
It was gigantic.
Yeah.
Like, it's a piece of furniture.
I mean, yeah, I guess they're fitting everything in there.
But I mean, I guess if you're putting in your cookbook and
Yeah.
all of your cooking supplies and every single thing that you would need to start a home, you need a pretty big chest.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, actually,
It
I
is
think,
cool.
because it's kind of your first piece of furniture for your house. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that that's going to be in my house.
It's true.
It was really cool.
Wild.
If I had known, I would have got you one,
You're
friend.
so wild.
I really would have.
I cannot imagine if you just
Showed up with this chest.
without me knowing what it was. And you're like, this is what our family does.
Yeah.
And here's your hope chest, and soon we'll be married.
Yeah. What I like about it, though, is I think that at least my friends who were really wanting to get married, some of them have been married. They were like, he hasn't proposed.
Oh, that's true.
And they're like freaking out about it. What if they had gotten a chest?
That's
what if they knew that there was a
It's
step
like a
ahead
little
of
promise.
time? Yeah, it's certainly like
Yeah.
getting ready. I'm
All right,
thinking about you.
Yeah.
Getting ready for us. Thanks to Lita for letting us spend time with her.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening. We want to do more stuff like this. I hope you like that.
Yeah. Nominate someone if you want.
Totally this was Morgan's thing, and I love it. And Morgan is so awesome. So thanks, Fred. And thanks to Lita. And thanks to all of you for listening. All right, well, when we come back, it is that time. Your No Class Picks of the Week. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's time to wind down the show here, bring it to a close the only proper way with our No Class Picks of the Week.
You're just a jealous,
No class.
lazy bum.
No class pick. All right. My pick is teachers who assign group projects knowing full well that some students are going to do the whole damn thing and the others are just going to take credit. I'm a tattletale. I don't care. Fuck you guys not texting me back. Oh, you don't want to text me back? Literally the smallest amount of effort you can put into this? Okay, I'm telling. I'm an adult. I'm over the whole ooh, people won't like me. I don't care. I'm taking all your jobs. I will get hired. Go fail your class. I strongly believe more people should fail classes. The parents are the problem because they're like, I'm paying for this. You aren't allowed to fail my kid. So the teachers can't really fail them anymore. So you have a bunch of dinguses entering the workforce. And then people who hire them are like, wait, why aren't you good at anything? You have a degree. And they don't fire them because everyone sues. It's dumb. So yeah, I'm telling on your asses. And the teachers need to fight back and fail people who can't do the work. Okay? Done. Mic drop. I would drop this mic, but I paid for it.
Dang, man. I like the proud tattletale. There's a rat you fools out, man. I don't care anymore. Hey, I don't disagree with the spirit of your argument whatsoever, especially being a person in the workplace. Solid.
What's yours?
Okay. So, a few weeks ago, Morgan shamed me in front of the entire world, trying to turn our sweet and kind listeners against me. She accurately described my Subway meatball sub sandwich order, then said that it was no class. And as we've told you guys before on this show, that accusation stinks. We've told you guys to be careful when using it, that it can be deeply offensive. And I can't believe that this person, the love of my life, the other half of my soul, would hurl such slander against me.
Crazy.
But you know what, guys? Now it's my turn. Listeners of the land, hear this. Morgan likes cheese. Hey, we all do. And she likes pasta. Again, hey, we all do.
Yeah.
And the other night, she made a simple pasta with red sauce. A fine and classy meal with no frills. Mm-hmm. But then she wants to add a little something extra to it. And she takes out my cottage cheese and pours it over the top of said pasta and then stirs it all in, making a hell broth of heinous design. No longer pasta, no longer cottage cheese, but some hideous chunky thing that I couldn't even stand to look at. That is a no-class meal, listeners. Morgan is no class with her food over here. So don't turn it on me, man.
Oh my God.
You're not better than me.
Okay, what I will say is it did not look as good as I thought it would look.
It looks hell. It's so disgusting.
I got it from
looking.
Instagram.
You got that? What? That's such a low rent, low class meal that you saw that on Instagram and you thought that looked good?
Well, they were like, how to add some protein to your pasta when you don't have protein.
You could do literally anything in the world other than cottage cheese. Any other cheese. A more rational cheese.
Oh my gosh.
That is nasty.
So
Cottage cheese is questionable already, even by itself on plain bread. If I hadn't eaten it as a kid, I would never.
Now you just turned yourself in.
What?
Because I've never, until you, heard of people eating cottage cheese on bread.
What do people eat it on then?
Just eat it by itself with like a tomato or something. I don't know.
Like in a bowl?
Or with a fruit in it.
Nah.
Yeah.
That can't
like
be.
peaches.
Oh, no way.
Yes. That's
No
what people
way.
do.
No way. I don't know where I got the cottage cheese thing. I got it because my friend's mom, as a kid, going to her house, it was one of the only things she would feed us. Is she would give us a slice of challah and with cottage cheese on it. So that's all I knew.
Never heard of it.
Never even knew what cottage cheese was before that.
Really?
Certainly never saw it on pasta.
To be fair, I had not seen it on pasta before Instagram.
Good God. Get off Instagram. If that's the trash that they're showing you on there, get off there. Poisoning the minds of our people here. Good Lord.
Oh my God.
All right, guys.
Gosh.
Well, that's our show. Thanks so much for being here and hanging with us. Actually, I had a listener reach out to me this week and tell me that the best thing about a new podcast is that you can binge it. And now that she's one of our regular listeners, she can't do that anymore. And she asked, why don't we make more episodes? I can't think of a nicer thing to say about our show, and I want to thank her for wanting to hear more of our show, and I want to thank you guys. And guys, we do want to do more, and we would love to do 2 shows a week and even more stuff.
Sure.
And I know that we make the show seem really easy, but it's a lot of work. We have one of the most intricate and thoroughly produced shows out there, and it takes dozens of hours a week to make.
Yeah.
Because we care about quality, pointing to our sign that we have in our studio here. But there is something that you all can do, and it's really easy. Just tell a friend or somebody that you know to give us a try. Our little audience here is growing, and more listeners is going to mean more shows for you guys to binge on down the line, to listen to on your long drives and your trips to the grocery store. We appreciate you guys so much. We really do. We hope that you guys are enjoying the show. If you're listening every week, I'm assuming that you do, and I thank you so much. Reach out to us everywhere. We're on Twitter @That'sNoClass, Instagram @That'sNoClass, YouTube, and TikTok. Join the conversation with us. That'sNoClass@gmail.com. And as always, we want to hear your no-class picks. Call the voicemail 8777-NO-CLASS.
Stay classy.
Stay classy and have a great week.